I'm going to try and answer the question, in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? I hope to first of all establish what are the forms and conventions of horror teaser trailers, and then also evaluate these conventions against my own media products. What are teaser trailers? Trailer Spy defines a teaser trailer as a short trailer used to advertise an upcoming film, television program, video game or similar, usually released long in advance of the product, so as to tease the audience. The so-called teaser ad or teaser campaign typically consists of a series of small, cryptic, challenging advertisements which anticipate a larger, full-blown campaign for a product launch or otherwise important event. I'm now going to list a few typical conventions of teaser trailers and the horror genre specifically, whilst using the example of the trailer for Scream to help illustrate my points.
Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
Tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Well, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Someone is playing a deadly game.
It all began with a scream of...
Length. In terms of length, the teaser trailer lies in between the full-length trailer and advertisement spot. In my research, I would say the average teaser trailer was around 1 minute long. Pace and editing. Horror trailers usually start off fairly timid and there is a build-up of tension towards the end of the trailer, until it reaches a climax or crescendo. This leaves the audience on a high note and in a state of suspense. Non-diegetic sound. Horror trailers aim to shock and scare the audience into wanting to watch the film. This is why over-exaggerated bangs and thumps feature regularly. The musical score is also highly linked with this pace of editing. The soundtrack dictates the pace in which there is usually a climatic ending. Representation. There is usually one main character which the audience put themselves in their position. The main character is highlighted as weak and vulnerable, and this is why the main character in horror films is usually a woman. Other interesting aspects of teaser trailers on the whole is that they are very mysterious and enigmatic. This leaves the audience asking questions such as what, why and how, and subsequently make them want to watch the full-length film to find out these answers. Next I'm going to talk about mise-en-scène. The setting of horror trailers are usually very specific, usually very lonely and dark places in order to induce fear and vulnerability. Lighting is also an aspect in horror teasers, whereby areas of darkness are regularly used to promote the fear of the unknown. The camera work in horror trailers should also try and enforce the fact that the protagonist is in trouble. High-angle shots are usually used to make the person seem vulnerable and weak, whilst close-up shots are used in order to let the audience reflect on the emotions of the character. My trailer. Setting. One of the main ways in which my trailer does not conform with typical horror conventions is the way that a lot of my filming was done in the daytime. A nighttime trailer would have perhaps conformed to the darkness, which is often apparent in trailers, including Scream. However, a dark and gloomy subway is a typical setting for a horror film, due to the emptiness and dark lighting. Okay, mysterious. Relating to the definition of a teaser trailer, I would say that my trailer was mysterious and enigmatic. The finer details of the story are usually left to the full-length trailer closer to release. This is why my trailer is quite vague and simple, yet it leaves the audience asking questions because it does not release too much information about the story, while still making the themes of the film obvious. Sound. In terms of sound, I would say that my trailer conforms to typical conventions of horror films. The music dictates the style of editing that I used. For example, when the gate slams shut, the bang of the music matches it. This gives the impression of power and importance. At the end of my trailer, as the camera gets closer and closer to the character from behind, the tempo of the music increases into a climatic ending. This can be seen in many horror films. Length. As I previously stated, during my research stage of my coursework, I found out the average length of a teaser trailer was around 1 minute long. My trailer is around 39 seconds long, perhaps a bit short. However, due to the high-tempo nature of my trailer, a lot of different camera angles and themes are displayed in a short space of time. Representation. One of the main tools I used to portray representation was the use of camera angles. I tried to use high-angle shots to make my character seem small and weak. Other shots, such as the close-up from behind shot, also give the impression that the character feels threatened. This conforms to real horror teaser trailers, as the main character is usually extremely vulnerable. This is one of the aspects where I would say my trailer does not conform to real media products, however. Most stalker films feature a woman as the main character because they are typically seen as more vulnerable and weak. It is not strictly true that I purposely tried to oppose these conventions. It was just a lot easier to ask one of my friends to be the main character. However, I think it gives a different spin on stalker films such as Prom Night and Scream, which all feature women. An interesting thought is that if my main character had been a woman, would my trailer be more effective? Narrative. To talk about narrative, you must first start talking off about narrative theory. The Todorov theory of equilibrium does not apply to my trailer. The theory states that narratives start off within equilibrium, and then a problem causes disequilibrium only for the resolution to bring back the narrative to equilibrium. My trailer starts off in disequilibrium, and the resolution of what actually happens is unclear. I think this is appropriate for the horror genre and for my trailer XR, because horror films are not romantic tales, which people want to learn about. Some people watch them simply for the thrill of it and to engage in it. Christopher Booker's narrative theory does not apply to my trailer either. This theory states that there are always certain character types, for example, the baddie, the goodie, and the damsel in distress. My single character trailer clearly shows the audience that from the start my innocent and fragile character is always doomed. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my magazine and poster. Popular film magazines such as Total Film and Empire both have similar target audiences, and so they both handle this in the same way. They both have a sophisticated and modern design, and they could be described as cool. The mode of address is relatively informal. The magazine often uses exclamation marks and rhetorical questions. After researching the conventions of popular film magazines, I would say that my magazine conforms to publications such as Empire in many ways. However, it does challenge these conventions in a few ways. My image is rather peculiar for the front of a film magazine. If you were to look at almost every issue of Empire and Total Film, the main star's face would be one of the most striking images. This is because they are the face and one of the main selling points of the film. This adds an air of confusion to the audience of the magazine, as the themes may not be immediately evident. My film poster conforms to real horror posters in many ways. Its layout is typical of a horror poster, with actors' names at the top, and then the three main pieces of information being the title, release date and tagline. I've tried to make the themes of my trailer clear in the poster, with the electric waves at the top giving the impression of technology, whilst the semiotics such as the colours of red and black give the connotations of danger and violence. I honestly think that when people look at my poster they can instantly understand the genre and themes of my trailer. I hope to examine this further in my feedback questions.